Chapter 11. Let's go while you're standing for just a few moments. Hebrews chapter 11. This is called, what is this chapter called? The what chapter? The faith chapter. You know, you are a people of great faith. I don't know if you realize that or not. But I want you to know you're a people of great faith. The modern day church is stronger than we realize. And we give it a lot of trash talk compared to the first church. And I know that you haven't probably had somebody chase you with a sword this way, or maybe you have. You never know what will happen in East Austin or downtown. If you're in Europe right now, they actually do have swords killing people. Well, they outlawed guns, so people grabbed their knives, and they kept killing people. That's what happens when you get rid of guns. Look, you got to excuse me. I'm just a Texas boy. Every now and then it's going to slip out. I was Texas born and raised. But you may not have had somebody try to kill you with a sword this week. And you might be wondering, are you even real? Have you even really had persecution? And I know sometimes it may think like we haven't. But I think we battle a different spirit in America. I think we're struggling with something maybe even worse than a sword. We're struggling with a lot of pleasure, abundance, access to sin and indulgence. Now, there are two things, and sweet things, good things, pleasures of life. Two things will threaten you to get you to quit. The sword, persecution, but the second one I want to talk about today, which I think is sometimes more difficult, is pleasure. How did I put it up there? Put my title up there. I think it's pleasure. Did I say pleasure-cution? Yeah, there it is. Beautiful, isn't it? Right there. Look at that title. My wife should have sent it to you already, but we'll get a new computer, I guess. Yeah, it's pleasure. It's pleasure. Somebody say pleasure-cution. I invented it. It's not a real word. Some of you are like, I don't think that's real, Pat. I know it's not real. Pleasure-cution. Yeah, Linda, I want you to just look at it. I think we suffer from pleasure-cution. I think our biggest enemy is indulgence. I think what keeps people out of church is because they have access to a lot of sin. In fact, when planes hit towers in America, churches get full. And some of y'all are praying against a president that would make it worse. But it's the only way some of us ever pray. Unfortunately. I wish things could be easy, but it seems like sometimes they have to get harder. So here we go, just for a few moments. Verse 1, now faith is a substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen, for by it the elders obtained a good testimony, a good report. By faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that the things which are seen were not made of things which are visible. By faith Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, through which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and through it, being dead, still speaks. By faith Enoch was taken away, so that he did not see death, and was not found because God had taken him. He was raptured. For before he was taken, he had a testimony that he pleased God. He walked with God. Verse 6, but without faith it is impossible to please him. For he who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Now by faith Noah, being divinely warned of things not seen, moved with godly fear. What did he do? He prepared an ark, a giant boat for the saving of his household, by which he condemned the world and became heir of righteousness, which is according to faith. Now Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to the place which he would receive as an inheritance. He went out not knowing where he was going. By faith he dwelt in the land of promise as in a foreign country, dwelling in tents with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he waited for the city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is God. By faith Sarah herself also received strength to conceive, and she bore a child when she was past the age, because she judged him faithful, who had promised her. Verse 12, therefore, from one man, and him as good as dead, were born as many as the stars of the sky, in multitude, and innumerable as the sand which is by the seashore, all by faith. 13, these all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, were assured of, them embrace them and confess that they were just strangers and pilgrims on the earth, just a passing through. For those who say such things declare plainly that they seek a homeland. And truly, if they had called to mind that country from which they had come out, they would have had opportunity to return. But now they desire a better, that is a heavenly country. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. Is anybody excited about heaven one day? That really is the ultimate goal. By faith, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac. And he who had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said, "In Isaac your seed shall be called," concluding that God was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from which he also received him in a figurative sense. By faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith Jacob, when he was dying, blessed each of his sons Joseph, and worshipped, leaning on the top of a staff. By faith Joseph, when he was dying, made mention of the departure of the children of Israel, and gave instructions concerning his bones. By faith Moses, when he was born, was hidden 3 months by his parents, because they saw he was a beautiful child, and they were not afraid of the king's command. By faith Moses, when he became of age, listen to this, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He rejected royalty, choosing rather to suffer. I'd rather hurt than give in to the pleasures of Egypt. That's also faith. Now, some of us think faith is just whenever you're getting killed by a lion. But let me talk to some Moseses in 2024 who have Egypt saying, "If you serve me, I'll hook you up." But there's some Moseses in this room, and it's going to take a Moses spirit to get through in the last days. I would rather suffer affliction with God's people than be indulged by Egypt. That's also great faith. I'm telling you, every day you deny yourself the indulgence of American culture, you are operating in chapter 11 faith. And I've come to preach to the church today. You have more faith than you realize. Every single day you wake up and that world bombards you with indulgence and access, and you reject it. You are a chapter 11 faith woman and man of God, just like everything else. Somebody say Pleasure-cution. In Jesus' name, you can be seated today. Thank you for coming and thank you for standing. Pleasure-cution, like electrocution. We're dying in modern culture to pleasure. And oh, is there an abundance of pleasure. God help us. Amazon Prime Day. Just take my phone, throw away my computer. 15% off. I have to have that yard steak that kills ants and holds my dog. It's the best thing ever. Oh, the pleasure is everywhere. Oh, the things you can buy if you have money. Oh, the things you can buy if you have money. It's incredible what's happening in our world. Bible days were different than today. You believe that? We have a hard time relating to the battles of the Bible. We read them and we're like, I would die in 3 seconds in the Old Testament. In 3 seconds, I would die. I wouldn't make it. There's no way we would make it. There's no way modern snowflake, Gen Z, where we're difficult, everything's difficult, and I'll talk about it more later. I'm not trying to roast everybody, but we all know what's happened to us. We're softer. We're softer than they used to be. We would die trying to make it in the Old Testament. From the hard work and the difficulty and the challenges, it was just a hard time. And we have a hard time relating to thousands of years ago and the way it used to be without electricity and air conditioning and padded pews. Oh, we're comfortable. We think we suffer. We think we suffer. We get down on ourselves. We get depressed. We are on depression medication in America in 2024. Y'all, they bring our groceries to our front door, and we taking depression pills. You got air conditioning everywhere you go. Now the tractors have it. Oh, God, that's one of my prayer requests right there. A tractor has air. Are you kidding me now? Autopilot? There's somebody the other day online driving their tractor with their phone. Farmers just sitting back drinking lemonade on the front porch all day and being like, hey, watch this, Ricky. Hey, look at that, Bob. Hey, and they're just on their phones video gaming farming. Oh, I got it bad. What is going on in this world of comfort? We live in great. Elon Musk is trying to build robots so we don't have to do anything. What will we do? I'm sorry, last time I checked, doing nothing's kind of bad. I don't like doing nothing. I kind of get bored. Now you got guys having maternity leave when their wife is pregnant. What a blessing that is. I mean, I want to hate on it, but son, 2 months off? Because you slept with your wife? You can't beat it. Hey, baby, I want some more children. Because I'm going to go fishing for two months while you take care of that baby. See, that's how they get you right there. You ain't going nowhere, sir. You ain't going nowhere, sir. Dare you to play video games. Dare you on that 2 months when she's up all night. Oh, I know how y'all roll. You play video games while you watch the baby on the night shift while she's sleeping. That's how you roll. I know how they do it these days. It's smart. They'll be like, baby, you just go ahead and go to bed. I'll take care of it tonight. I'll watch the baby. I'll watch the baby. Shh, be quiet. You watch the baby. And we think we have it hard. We think we have it tough. Our modern day struggles are laughable compared to the heroes of faith. I'm not saying we don't have it hard. I'll talk about that later. I'm just saying it's a different day. And when you read through chapter 11, you feel like, I barely got the kids dressed and got to church. Am I a hero of faith? Like, I can barely just get to church twice a week. Noah had to build a boat for something like 50 years. 50 years plus, he had to try to build a boat just to save himself from a flood that was coming. And we feel persecuted when we can't afford one. Some of y'all drive down the road, look at that boat for sale, like, wish I could get a boat. My life is so bad. I can't believe my life is so bad. I don't have a boat. Everybody else has a boat. My friend has a boat. They're on a boat. You look out there on the shore, you're fishing, and the nice boat goes by. You're like, I wish I had a boat. Work my tail off all the time. I ain't got no boat. Life is horrible. Well, come on, Jesus. Just come on back right now. This persecution is too strong. Can't believe. Y'all, it's crazy. Facebook, I guess your phone can hear what you're saying. You say stuff like, I want a boat, and all of a sudden you got all kinds of advertisements for boat. Makes me so mad. The stuff they send me. They got a jet ski now that you can fish off of. You can do a jet ski and fishing at the same time. You can just ride a tube, take the family out, go catch a fish. $13,000. That's all. Just $13,000. $20,000 for a jet ski now. It's crazy. If you got the money and you want the comfort, you can buy it. But yeah, we get depressed because we can't have things. Not because we don't have things, like the basics of life. We get depressed because we can't have more. Some of y'all depressed because you don't get more than the more that you get. It depresses us. You good? All right, let's try to stay. This last week we walked around too much. I'm sorry. We're going to try to be a little more careful today. It gets distracting, okay? Thank y'all so much for helping me out. I get distracted sometimes. We'll move too much. If you got to use the restroom, go ahead and do it. But back and forth a whole lot can be distracting. Amen? Does that distract you too? Okay, let's work on that, all right? In Jesus' name, thank you for helping me out. But what happens is we want things so bad we get depressed. Abraham was told to leave his father's house and walk to a new land. The journey was an estimated 1,200 miles, and we have to take breaks at Disney World. Oh, man, I'm about to have to sit down for a second, y'all. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know I spent $6,000 to walk around a circle, but I just feel like if I could just sit down and eat another pretzel, it'd give me the energy I need to make it to the next water slide. Okay, I just need to get over here to the next ride. It's just tough. Y'all give me a break. It's hot. It's like 80 degrees in California. It's like, oh man, I'm struggling right now. There goes my knee. I just think a Mickey Mouse snow cone would make everything go away. I feel like I need a little sugar. You know, my sugar's low. That's the funniest thing we've ever said. That's the funniest thing. I just think I need a little ice cream to keep going on my journey. What? You need sugar to help you be healthy? Yes, it's good for me. Sugar, I'm burning lots of calories. Maybe that's why you're not making it around Disney World. And so we were like, look, Abraham, and it's like, we don't understand. That was like 1,200 miles. He had the journey. It took him forever. And we think it's hard in traffic getting to church. And our air-conditioned cars. And we're like, it's just too much. It's just too much, y'all. It's going to be an extra 5 minutes of traffic, y'all. I just can't tonight. I'm going home. I'm turning around. I'm going back home. You've been there? I don't know. We've all been there. That's it. Oh, traffic jam. I'm not going to do it. I might be 5 minutes late. I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm not going to go. I'm going to stay. It's a little bit of rain. Oh, it's too hard. Abraham was asked to sacrifice his son. And you're like, I just want to try to get him dressed for church. That's a sacrifice for me. It's like getting my kid dressed I feel like I can relate. It's hard. It's hard having a kid. It's like Abraham was asked to sacrifice, to kill his son and give him to God. Of course, we know he didn't have to. It was a test. It was a challenge. But y'all, I thought about it. You know what was worse than that? They had to walk 3 days to get to the mountain and then climb it. I don't think half the people in America could do that part. That would be it, where you lose me. It'd be like, God's like, hey, you want to kill your son? Okay, well, we'll get to that in a second. But Lord, first problem, I can't walk 3 days. Nowhere. And then when I get there, I sure can't climb no mountain. And plus, my allergies get messed up. I'm out of Zyrtec, Jesus. Can we check the weather first? What if it's raining that day? I mean, the stuff they had to go through, and we're sitting here like we have it bad. We think we're struggling. That's the point I'm trying to make. By faith, the walls of Jericho came down. That's awesome. But they had to walk around it once a day for 6 days. And on the last day, they had to walk around it 7 times. Then after the walls fell down, they had to climb over the walls and start killing everybody. I mean, how many of us would just quit after day 3? Being like, this is too much walking. I'm out of breath. I don't know how to do this, Jesus. You're asking me to do too much. Walk today. They did so much physical, and they dealt with so much. We'd be like, but Pastor, they're out of tacos. I quit this church. Make it easier. It's too much for me. I'm busy. Pastor, can you stop preaching an hour? It's hard to sit here. We used to have wooden pews. I guess back in the day they sat on the dirt. I don't think they had pop-up chairs back in the day. They just sat on the dirt. Yeah. Stand the whole time. Sit on the ground. Yeah. And we think we have it hard. Rahab, the Bible says, hid Israel's spies in her home by faith. Strangers were let in. If this was today, we'd be like, hold on, are you Democrat or Republican before I let you in? I didn't know. Let's check real quick. Pull up their name. I want to check their social media, see who check their background. Who are you? I don't let you in my house. Lord, you asked for too much, making them have to come in my house. I mean, the stuff they went through, they let their enemy in their home. She didn't know they would kill him or what. Spies. She opened up the door. What have you done lately? It was difficult like that. Abraham's wife, Sarah. God was like, you're going to have a baby as an old woman, but God forbid God told an old woman today that. She'd be running to the abortion clinic. It's a different hour we live in. A baby? God forbid. I have to take care of a baby? The spirit of our age is, I can't handle a baby. We think we have it hard. Yep. Jacob was old. Jacob was dying. And the Bible says by faith he blessed his grandsons and worshiped God leaning on his staff. But the air is too cold in the church. And it's too loud. Or they took my seat. Sorry, Brother Dominic. Where's you at? I saw him get moved today. I apologize, brother. Church growth problems. It's good. It's good problems, you know. It's all right. I looked over there. I can tell. I look where people usually sit. And when they get transferred, I always know it's because someone got their seat. But that wasn't your seat. Y'all know that, right? Yeah, we're good. Okay. Hebrews 11:32, and what more shall we say? For the time would fail for me to tell of Gideon and Barak and Samson and Jephthah and also David and Samuel and all the prophets and what they went through, because through faith they subdued kingdoms. They worked righteousness. They obtained promises. They stopped the mouths of lions. But we struggling. It's so hard serving God in America. Oh, the persecution I had to face. Someone didn't like me at my job. They found out I was a Christian. They don't talk to me no more, Pastor. I just can't take it anymore. People don't like me. Stop the mouths of lions, quench the violence of fire, escape the edge of the sword. Out of weakness were made strong, became valiant in battle, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Women received their dead raised to life again. Others were tortured, not accepting deliverance that they may obtain a better resurrection. They said, just kill me. I'd rather go down in blazing glory. That's the chapter of faith. Still others, verse 36, had trial of mockings and scourgings, yes, and of chains and imprisonment. And they were stoned, and they were sawn in two. And it's hard for you to be a Christian in 2024. We think we have it so bad, don't we? They were tempted, they were slain with the sword, they wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and mountains and dens and caves of the earth, and we like to let the devil tell us that we're struggling with too much pressure. No, we are not struggling in 2024 with persecution. Our battle here in America, in modern times, is not people trying to cut our heads off. Not yet. That day is coming. Our problem right now is people trying to feed that very head that they would have to get cut off. We're living in an hour right now where we're consumed with entertainment and media and devices of our world saying indulge, get more, get more. In fact, you're a loser if you don't have more. And we're struggling in this hour with way too much access. They had suffering. They had actual pain, physical attacks. Most of our physical problems come from doing it to ourselves in American culture. I know it's quiet. It'll end good. Don't worry. Hang on. Don't leave. Chapter 11 mentions various people of faith in Scripture who through faith in God accomplished the impossible. They endured great hardships, believing that the end would be worth it all. And I know we endure hardships, but let's be honest. The American hardships are not Hebrew hardships. This is why it's called the book of Hebrews and not the book of America. Because this connects to a people who have been through so much hell, and yet they've had to stand strong in their faith in God. Through all the hell, the fire, the high waters, the floods and difficulties, they said, we will stand for God no matter how beat up we are. We will endure pain. Enduring pain is a part of it. We will soon find a day in this nation where we will probably have to endure pain, but that's not the day we're living in right now. We are living in the day of pleasure. And we'll tell you the majority of problems we're facing right now are not swords, but gifts, blessings, way too much access to ungodliness. We have something the first church did not have. We have abundant access to pleasure and comforts. We have abundant access to self-indulgence. And we've let the enemy lie too long saying our life is bad. Our life is not bad. Our life is not bad. There is no way our life is that bad. There is no way you could say it's that bad. I wanted to come bring some truth in your family right now because you've let the devil make a victim out of you, calling you a messed up, hurt, persecuted person. No, you're not. You live like kings 2,000 years ago. And we've believed the lie. We compare ourselves among ourselves. We compare ourselves among the 1% richest people in the world. They have a yacht. I don't have a yacht. If you're going to compare yourself, look at the entire world. And look at how good we have it here in America. And we're going to get all down and out and say, oh, God's not real. I'm having to hurt today. No, you're not. No, that's not our battle. That's not our typical. No, the vast majority of sinful indulgences paled in comparison to what we have to endure in 20. And I say endure, I mean endure. Because we are enduring them. Hey, if you're a Christian trying to be holy in unholy culture, you're enduring them. You're resisting it. Every day you're surrounded. You're a candy lover in a candy shop every day trying to make it through. I've come to build your faith today, but I have to start with this long runway to prove a point. Our battle is not persecution. Our battle is constant availability to temptation and pleasure. We have DoorDash. Poor thing. You sat on your couch watching Netflix all day, and people brought you food, and your life is so bad. Where's the Lord at? Is there even a God? I don't know if I can make it. More tacos, more tacos. I need more tacos, please. Oh, you pitiful thing. Yo, we eat when we're depressed. We order more food. We indulge. We have it so bad, we go get more when we have it bad. Really? That's our problems here in 2024? We have food 24 hours a day. Cheap, good tasting. It'll probably kill you, but cheap, good tasting food 24 hours a day. Tell me how bad your life is. Netflix, any show you could ever want to satisfy your flesh. Endless YouTube, endless videos and movies, endless. And you're telling me we're struggling with battles of pain and suffering? That's not our battle. We're fighting a war of pleasure. We are fighting a war of access. We are fighting right now in modern days the access to unholy temptation, pleasure, bliss, offering us giftings, offering us things to satisfy our flesh, all anti-God, all evil, all just as evil as the sword trying to kill you, but a lot more appetizing, a lot more open. And we open ourselves up to these spirits because they satisfy us. They pleasure us. Oh, anybody can run from a sword. If somebody came in here and was like, I'm an evil spirit, I'm going to kill you with a sword, you'd be like, well, I rebuke you, you out of here. I don't believe in that. But somebody rolls up in here with some little sweet thing, you're like, hey, let's talk. Oh, what you got there? What is that? Oh, I'm going to watch that. Oh, is it? I don't know. It looks good. It looks like it could please me. It looks like it might help me. And we open our spirit up to things that please us, and they look sweet and beautiful. The Bible says even Satan has appeared as an angel of light. He knows he can't get you with swords. He knows he's got to get you with sweets. And you think your battles are too much persecution. No, our battle is too much pleasure. Having to say no every single day, all day. Now there's these things called video games. And I'm not saying never play a video game, but I'm telling you the addiction of video games is strong. And here's why. The difference in a movie and a video game is the video game, you are the character. You're role-playing. In fact, it's called RPG, role-play game. You become the one in the game doing the sin. In some ways, it's worse than movies because you are the one acting it out. You're the one murdering somebody. I'm not talking about a game where you're defending or a military. I'm talking about there's games where you just kill, you murder. You are living through that person. No wonder schools are getting shot up. That's the diet of the American boy. So video games are 24 hours you could play. I used to play all night long, never think about it. Just could play, and I just live in that world. You know why I liked them so much? Because in that world, I was somebody special. In that world, I was physically fit. In that world, I was rich. In that world, all the girls liked me. In that world, I get to redo it when I die. The reason why that world is so strong is because it pleasures you. And that's the battles of 2024. It's ruining marriages. It's keeping men single. Because they have their wives online. Hopefully not a girl in a chat room that he's talking to We have unlimited movies and TV shows, more than you could ever dream at our access. Right here. Right there. Just a small monthly fee, and you can watch anything you want to watch. And you can say, well, it's not porn, but it's still porn. It just didn't come through a porn website. And it feels good because it was, oops, accident. No, you knew it. When you turned it on, it was probably going to have something like that in it. But you did it anyway because you're trying to find a way to pleasure yourself. And we struggle with pleasure. And we'll tell you, you think the sword stuff, get one of these and tell it no all day. You know what a cell phone is? It's a no. That's all it is. It's a no. It's like no, 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 no. Oh, what about that? No, 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 no. This is a no. It's all it is. Every day, all you have to do, all day you look, go, no, I can't have that app, can't see that. No, not that website. No, not that. No, it's a no. It's all it is. Everything you have right here is pleasure, not pain. You have pleasure in the pocket in 2024. And we think our battle is, I'm suffering. No, you're not suffering. Everything you need to medicate you, when you're bored, here's what you do. Yeah. We don't talk anymore. We just do this. Yeah. Get in an elevator, don't say hi, just stay on this. Yeah. Yeah, we have this for all solutions. This is your medicine, this is your pacifier. And you think your life is bad? You're indulging how many hours? And we think our battle is swords, Jericho wall. We can't relate. We are not the generation that has to have faith against persecution. We're the generation that has to have faith against pleasure-cution. We are the generation that has to fight and stand against all of the pleasures of our world. Pornography of any type is available now. There's this thing called OnlyFans. Apparently, it's a thing where women, normal women, sign up, post their own, I guess they do their own videos and pictures of themselves immodestly dressed and sexually, and they have subscribers, and apparently women now are making thousands of dollars a day, doing their own pornography. And this is a popular thing in our culture, and men are signing up, and men are paying for it. And so if you want to select a girl and you want to see her naked, you want to see her, then you just get an app and you do it and you sign up for it, and that's the day we're living in. If you want it, you can have it. And you know what? Doesn't even cost a whole lot. It's affordable. You just got to say no to it all the time. Yep. We have drugs like they've never had in the Bible days. I know they had a few drugs, but not like we have. There's no way. We're smarter now. We've been putting chemicals together like crazy for the last 2,000 years. There's no way they struggle with drug addiction and drug problems like we do today. The disciples and apostles never had to face what we face. Think about that. They didn't have a bunch of people on drugs coming in their church services. They didn't have a bunch of people on all kinds of meds that are messing them up walking in their church services. We live in a different hour where drugs and alcohol's everywhere. Y'all, how come there's so many different types? Unbelievable. I mean, there's all kinds of alcohol and all kinds of ways to get drunk. Pick your poison. It's everywhere in our country, in our nation. Every day it's no, 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 no. Everywhere you go, there's a no. Every 5 seconds, I don't want that. I don't want that. Oh, yeah, that's appealing. Oh, that's tempting, but I'm not going to do it. My faith says I'd rather suffer. My faith says I'd rather suffer. I would rather go down suffering than partake in this Egyptian worldly culture. I refuse to be comfortable while God's people are suffering. Look, he said, I'd rather suffer. Is that the way you think? Does your faith say I'd rather suffer? Because there is a church right now in North America that has got to get enough faith to suffer. There's a church that has to say, I'm not the one that will probably die by the sword. I'm the one that will say no to the cell phone. I'm the one that will say no to the alcohol, no to the perversion, no to the access, no to that girl that's easy, that guy that's easy. I'm the one that says, you can put it in my face, but I will not give in. I will not indulge. I will be the master of this phone. It will not be the master of me. We have social media all around us, all day, feeding us. Take a picture of yourself, put your curves out there, flex a little, get a few likes, and then you sit there on your phone going, I hope somebody likes it. Hope somebody likes it. And the more likes you get, the better it is. And you're just feeding yourself, you poor thing. You got all those likes. And you feel like if you don't get a lot of likes, I just can't make it in this world. I posted I had spaghetti for dinner and only got 4 likes. God, do you even understand the pain that I go through? The suffering I have? Our poor young people don't even know what suffering is. We've let the devil make them suicidal over stupid stuff like getting a like on a cell phone. It's a lie from the devil. We're not hurting near as bad as the devil likes to think. We are being lulled to sleep with comforts. I'm going to tell y'all something. Our kids need to learn how to work, suffer, do something they don't like. You're letting them talk you out of it. Make them work. Get them out there. Make them do something. It's making them weak. This young generation wants to tell you the voice of the devil, and that's too hard. No, it's not too hard. There's no way that's too hard. I don't know how many times I have to say it. You can't, dishes, 30 minutes of dishes? You're gonna just lose everything over 30 minutes of dishes. I have to vacuum. Oh, Daddy, no, vacuum. It's so hard pushing this awesome, amazing $300 battery-operated vacuum that's super lightweight. Now, you lazy people, you got the robot. Hey, Siri, vacuum my house. Just sitting there eating Cheetos. Now they got them now that mow your grass. I'll never buy that. Get me out the house, you know what I'm saying? Where's Brandon at? Y'all keep having them. Go ahead, see what happens. You're going to be out there mowing all day. Just mow. Have one more daughter, Matthew. You won't go inside. Watch. You won't go inside. You think I'm going to get some robot? No way. That's my chance to get out and just breathe a little bit. We're fed, and it's getting worse every day, and we're being surrounded by these things. And the devil says you got it hard. Our greatest fears are losing a job, not losing our head, being embarrassed by somebody, being made fun of. Show me scriptures for that. Oh, you persecuted those people who have been made fun of. It must be tragic for you to have someone not like you, or to comment on your Facebook post. Toxic manner. I know you've endured great hardship. I'm coming back for thee quickly. It's not there. We've made all that up. Where in the Bible does it say it's difficult to be embarrassed or made fun of or disagreed with? We've made all that up. Some of us think we're going through persecution because no one likes us. We don't have a friend. I'm going to just tell you right now, it's your fault. That's a lie of the devil. It's your fault if you have no friends. The Bible says if you want friends, show yourself friendly. You're not serving anybody, and nobody's going to serve you. I know. It gets better, sister, if you'll wait. Some of y'all are like, I'm not getting married. 2024 problems. Y'all, you know what our battles are? Not swords, not spears, not lions, not evil kings, not yet. We battle gluten allergies. Sugar and everything. Plastic bottles are trying to kill us now. I heard the other day that there's fluoride in our water. It's why we're all sick all the time. So now water's trying to kill us. That's the battles we got in 2024. Our battles are, I didn't get enough sun today. I need my vitamin D. That's probably why we're sick. Go outside, get burned, skin cancer. It's like, pick up which one. What you going to get, huh? 15 minutes, not too much. I have to get just the right amount of vitamin D, but not too much. It'll kill me. And we don't even know how to make it in life. You know what our problems are? Too much screen time. Our phone roasts us every week. It sends you a report, and it's like, you're a loser. You're like, I wish screen reports would come out with Pentecostals and church people every Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. That way you can wake up, I'm going to church. I need to get some Jesus in my life. and ragweed, cedar. Texas has bad allergies. I just hope I can make it through, Jesus. Just come quickly, Lord. Come before the season changes, Lord. We're like, groceries are high. I'm like, is anybody trying to kill you today? Groceries are high. Hey, you want to feel better about groceries? Go to Central Market. We are the most spoiled people in the entire world. Why are there 45,000 types of cheese? They all come from what? 2 animals? How y'all doing that? How in the, y'all been in Central Market? Y'all hadn't been there. Y'all like, I'm too poor to even walk in that place. That place is kind of expensive. But if you want to see how you could splurge, go to Central Market. They got all kinds of stuff from all over the world, exotic everything. And you talk to me about how life is so tough for you. We have access to so much. I have social anxiety, Pastor. Y'all, it's hard for us to go to church 2 times a week, read our Bibles and study daily, and talk to the Lord consistently throughout the day. And we say, we're going through a tough time. Are you really? Why are we struggling? We're struggling because we have been so made comfortable with easy access to indulgences, and it has made us weak. It has made us stuffed. It has made us not want God. It has made us babies. It's made us something different than what the first church was. But when I think about that one verse in Hebrews 11, I'm glad because I couldn't relate until that one. When it said Moses actually had the opposite happen. He was raised in the palace. He was on that 1,000 Egyptian sheets, that count, that nice stuff. He had servants. He had the best life. He was living good. He decided that he did not want to roll with the Egyptian luxury. You see what he did there? He gave up luxury. And he said, I'd rather suffer than let the indulgence of my culture corrupt me. I'm going to tell you why you're going to make it to heaven. And I'm going to tell you why you're writing your own chapter 11 for yourself right now. It's because those of us alive on this earth in this nation right now are daily having to have enough faith to say no to probably 200 things every single day. Everywhere you go, you're having to resist. Everywhere you go, you're having to say, I choose not to have that. I choose not to have. I'd rather suffer. I'd rather suffer. Oh, free this, I'd rather suffer. Free that, I'd rather suffer. You could have this if you want it. I know I could. But my faith says, I'd rather suffer than indulge with the things of this world. Sufferers in the house today who say, I feel it, I feel temptation, I feel the pull, but I say no every single day. I feel it just like everybody else does, but I say no every single day. I resist, I fight back, I choose to suffer. We are the people who will be in the book of faith, not because of swords, but because of denial, because we look at the world and all that it has to offer, and we look at it and say, no, I do not want this. I'd rather be nobody and have Jesus. I'd rather have nothing and have my salvation. Have you looked at the end of Paul's life? He says stuff like, I'm ready to die. Why would you be ready to die? Have you read his testimony? I was shipwrecked. I was beaten. I was betrayed. All my life has been nothing but suffering. I'm going to tell you, when you've been through suffering, you want to die. When you've been through pleasure, you want to live. What are we afraid of the most? Death. You know why you're afraid of death? Because you stuff yourself with American cultural pleasures on the daily, and it's made you afraid of death. But when you choose to suffer, Brandon, you talk like Paul and say, you know what would be better than this world? Heaven. Now I'm going to tell you why some of you don't want to go to heaven. You got it too good. I'm worried about people who don't want to go to heaven, and I'm going to tell you a lot about yourself. You know that you're a pleasure seeker of the world when you don't have a thirst to go to heaven. When you're not looking forward to the second coming of Jesus Christ and Him coming back to snatch you up out of this world, when there's anything you'd rather have more than heaven, you are indulging too much in Egypt. Paul said, it would be good for you if I stay because I could help you. It'd be better for me if I go. And the Lord literally told him he was going to go get his head cut off in Rome. And he got on the very boat that took him to get his head cut off, knowing they would do it there. Because he had a revelation. I would rather suffer. Because what I'm about to get, here's the theme of chapter 11. What I'm about to get that I have not got yet is going to cost me. What I'm about to get called heaven, bliss and pleasure forever, is going to cost me pain temporarily. The revelation of faith is it hurts for a little while, but it's really good forever. This is why they were honored and bragged about. They had gone on a journey, never getting to the end, because they were looking for a city whose builder and maker was God. And they realized there was nothing in this present earth that could ever satisfy us like Jesus can satisfy us. And as they were walking around looking, they said, I don't want Egypt. I don't want the world. I don't want the sex. I don't want the drugs. I don't want the alcohol. I just want to get to Jesus. It's better to be with Jesus and suffer in this world. Praise the Lord, it's better. Cut my head off. Church, how will you be remembered? Probably won't have a very cool story about pain. You probably won't be like Paul. You probably won't get to have him at your funeral being like, well, this is how they went out, you know. Old Brother Angel said, I will play the piano no matter what. And they walked in church and they were like, bro, if you do it, I'm going to take you out. He's like, I'll keep playing. And it's like, you probably won't get that cool story, bro. We won't be probably looking around being like, oh, let's shout and rejoice. Angel was killed. He was martyred. He was persecuted for the Lord. No, it might not happen like that. You might die one day in a rocking chair on the back porch. So what's going to be your testimony? So what are you fighting then? If it's not persecution, it's not all that junk, then what are you fighting? You're fighting pleasures. And I'm going to tell you right now, I believe pleasures are more difficult than pain. Brother Dale, what happens when people go through pain? They go to church. yeah, that's why you're here, by the way. Marriage broke up. Hey, welcome to church. Oh, you got trouble right now? Got pain? Got a little pain in your body? Oh, go to church. Can't break free of addictions? Go to church. You hurting right now? You go to church. Oh, you get a little extra money? Oh, I'm busy this weekend. Another vacation, Pastor. You know, got to get my rest. No, the truth is you've been wanting to miss church. You just had nowhere else to go. You finally got a little access to money, and now you get to go do whatever you want all the time. It was in your heart all along. Because money reveals what you really want when you get it. More church, less church. How will we be remembered without our cool story of getting killed with a sword? If Satan's greatest weapon is pleasure, then maybe those of us who are denying ourselves in 2024 are absolutely full of faith. I kind of think that the greatest weapon that Satan has over us is giving us what our flesh wants. I can prove it to you. What's the first thing he told Adam and Eve? He went to Eve and said, why don't you eat that fruit? And then a little bit later he goes to Job and tries to take everything away from him, but Job wouldn't give into the pressure. Because Satan figured out pretty quick, I can get them to bow faster with pleasure than I can with pain. You know what happens when someone brings pain? It makes you stronger. Do you know that muscles are not building, they're breaking? When you lift a muscle, when you lift weights, your muscle does not build, it breaks. Did you know that? I know it kind of blows your mind. When you're lifting weights, you're breaking. Yeah, the reason why you look good in the mirror is because you're tensing up. But the fact is your muscle does not begin to grow until it begins to heal. Because the body releases what it needs to build muscle after you've broken your muscle. Because everything you break, the body is designed to build back even better. Pain is necessary for strength. So Satan doesn't want to hurt you. He wants to pleasure you. Because I have seen people quit God more over pleasure. Who goes to church more? People that have a lot or people have less? Do the rich go to church more? No, they don't. Middle class, lower class goes to church more. You know why? Because the more access to the things of the world you have, the less you want God. And that's why not everything you have is a blessing. If it pulls you from God. I'm convinced, and I'm done, I'm closing. I'm convinced it takes faith to be a Christian, an American Christian, in this hour of indulgence. In the last days, men will be lovers of their self. Our culture surrounds us daily with evil, and it rubs it in our face with lots of sugar-coated, nice, beautiful tricks. And it tries to get us to give in and indulge. And I believe today it takes great faith to live here and not give in. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're standing for God, you're choosing to ignore the temptation 24 hours a day. You have the power in you to say no if you're still serving God in America right now. And I'll tell you, the power to say no to indulgence is even greater than the power to die by a sword. Because you get adrenaline when you're dying by a sword. You go down with glory dying by a sword. You get a name dying by a sword. I believe you have more faith than you realize. You refuse to give in every day. And I've come to tell you in my closing today that you ought to lift your head up if you're still in this thing. Because you have been handed an access to anything you want. And you've said no to it. I'm telling you, this church has more faith than you realize. I'm telling you, you're a holier people than you even realize. If we could go back in time, I'm telling you, Brother Angel, the apostles, what they dealt with, they wasn't near like what we deal with today. We think that we think we're a lesser church. No, I think we've got more temptation than they had. I truly believe with all my heart that the modern day church has it harder than the first church. And I didn't used to always believe that because I used to believe, well, they got killed and they got persecuted. But you know what's worse than persecution? Pleasure-cution. And I'm seeing people right now drift and fall asleep, even though you come to church, fall asleep in a spiritual coma. Because your life is too good. Because you're dancing with Egyptians. And you have no hunger for heavenly things. You don't desire heaven. You fear death, even though it's the vehicle to seek God's face. And the message we should be preaching right now is not poor you, but turn to God and His holiness and righteousness and say no to the temptations of Satan. Satan is not always attacking us. Let me say that again. Satan is not always attacking you. Let me say it one more time. That pain you have may be God's will to wake you up. You think Satan wants you reaching out and calling to God? Hey, didn't you pray, whatever it takes, Lord, I want to be saved? All of a sudden things got worse for you? When will we realize that the greatest enemy of our day is indulgence and access to ungodly things? And I came to tell somebody who walks in wholeness every day, good for you. You're a person of faith. I came to tell a woman today who says, I am a woman in a messed up culture. I'm going to get out of my bed today. I'm going to act like a woman. I'm going to dress like a woman. I'm going to put on woman clothing. And I'm going to walk out into a world with a bunch of women who don't agree with me. And I'm going to show up to the work and show up to the job. And I'm going to keep my head up because I'm not allowed to let the pleasures of the world pull me down. Hey, I know there's an easy road. I know you could fit in with Egypt. I know you could dress like them, act like them, and talk like them. But some of us have chosen to suffer. Don't feel sorry for me. I chose this. Oh, you feel sorry for me? Oh, Pastor, you can't go there, can't do that. I can do whatever I want to do. I choose not to. I chose this life. I stepped out of Egyptian life and said, I would rather suffer. I would rather give up. I would rather hurt than to have the things of this world and go to hell. What has it profited a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? I choose to suffer. Good on you for not having social media apps. You choose to suffer. Good on you for not letting your kids go there and do that. Good on you for not celebrating Halloween like everybody else. I choose to suffer. You're the only one. Don't care. We're going to do what we do. I'm going to suffer. It's so weird, Pastor. Why are you suffering? Because I would rather suffer than to fall in line with the things of the world and just go with the flow of my culture and go with the flow of the pleasures of the world. I'd rather suffer. That ought to be your new theme all the way to heaven. I'd rather suffer. So I want to come and tell you, if you're in the church in 2024 and you're resisting all the temptation you could give into, good for you. You are a woman or man of faith. The next time you feel tempted and you don't do it, chapter 11. The next time you have access to it and don't give in, chapter 11. The next time it seems like you don't have a sword, you don't have a battle, I'm telling you, we have a greater battle. Our greater battle is every day saying no. Our greater battle is staying married to the one we married. Our greater battle is not looking at that junk, not indulging in that junk, putting it away. If it's not of God, I don't want it in front of me. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm not going to give in. I'm not going to indulge. We are the apostolic church built on the apostles' doctrine, and we're not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus. We will stand who we are, and we will suffer. It's okay. We will take the hits. We'll take the pain. We'll be embarrassed. I want you men to know it's faith when you stay off the internet and all those bad websites. Doesn't feel very spiritual, does it? Brother Craig, when us men say, I'm not watching that. But I'm telling you, the disciples never had access to it. We think they're so spiritual and we'd never be like them because they died. I kind of think dying would be a lot cooler than having to secretly struggle every single day with the wicked world who is begging me. Every day I can't escape it. And every day I get up and I pull out a different kind of sword, the sword of the Spirit. And I wage war against every spirit that tries to take me out. And I fight with the shield of faith. And you might not could see it, but it's there and it's real. And we're not fighting real swords. We're fighting a greater enemy, a temptation that is ever present with me. And we've got to daily say, no, 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 no. I will not do it. Ladies, you got a lot of faith whenever you stand up and you cover up and you dress modestly because the world thinks you're crazy, ladies. But we would rather suffer than to look like an Egyptian woman. What's an Egyptian woman? Egyptian woman is a woman who believes what culture says they should look like. What's a godly woman? A woman that believes that the Bible says how we're supposed to look like. And we are not the same. And I'm so glad for every woman who says, it's tempting to wear those tight clothes so I get more men to look at me. It's tempting to take off clothes so that I get attention and feed my flesh. But I'm so glad for women who in 2024 have to walk out those doors every day and go to the mall, and you've got to endure your husband having to keep his eyes away from every woman with yoga shorts and no clothes, and it's getting crazy. Bikini tops in Austin now. That's the normal out there. That's the day that we live in. And women, you'll never understand the battle that men have. You'll never get it. You'll never understand your husband's struggle. The disciples did not live in an hour of immodesty. Their culture was covered up. Women started taking off their dresses and putting pants on and getting tight, not even 100 years ago. It's a cultural thing. If that's how you live, that's just the culture. I'm not against you. I know how our culture lives. And you know when you walk in those doors, we are not like this culture. But I'm telling you, when you live every day and you resist to give in to the pressures of our culture, good for you. Sir, when you say, not today, I'm not looking at it, Apostle Paul never had one of these. He never had to face the things we face. If you're hanging on, sir, if you're still in the church after everything you've said no to, I congratulate you. If you're suffering right now because you didn't say yes to something the world had to offer you, I congratulate you. Ma'am, if you're not giving in and you're standing against the way the world says you got to look and be and act and be sexual and all that mess, I'm proud of you. I congratulate you because it's suffering to live in a world that's every day bombarding us with pleasures. Everywhere you look, there's extra food that I don't need. There's things I don't need. There's drugs and alcohol and sex, and everywhere I go, I've got to say no. You see, here's how we're closing. You have more faith than you even realize. And it's time for the church to rise up and say, I had no idea. I was just like them. I had no idea that I'd never faced the lion, but I've faced far worse. I had no idea I'd never faced the sword. I'm going to tell you, if you can say no to the pleasures of the world, you will die for Jesus. You would. But if you can't deny yourself the pleasures of the world, there's no way you'd be a martyr and die. We are facing giants. David could kill Goliath, but he couldn't kill Bathsheba. I feel the Holy Ghost right now. You think you're some loser in your faith? I'm telling you, if you've quit half your pornography, you're better off than most men. And I'm proud of you, sir. The fact that you got up and came to church right now, sir, while most men are out there working on their car or fishing, it says a lot, because you said, I choose to suffer than to join in with the ways of this American culture. Well, my family and I, we're going to suffer. And they're going to keep making stuff that's going to tempt us. And they're going to keep putting in our faces. I have to go out to Austin and I have to watch my wife roll her eyes because of the immodesty in this city. She prays under her breath for me that I will not fall prey to the indulgence of this wicked world. I'm telling you, men, if you're making it right now, you're making it. I'm telling you, men, if you're holy and righteous and you're guarded, then you ought to stand up in chapter 11 and say, I am a chapter 11 faith person. I have faith. Not they have faith. I have faith. I will make it. I will suffer. I'm just like them. I know today we're past our normal timeline, but I want to know who's going to suffer. It's a choice you have to make. Who's going to suffer? Come on, Moses. Who's going to suffer? Who's going to suffer? It's tougher than you think. When you're the only one at your job, Brandon, and they're all telling dirty jokes, and you stand there and you look at them, and they look at you and say, why aren't you laughing, Brandon? Because I am a man of God. Because I stand according to the scriptures. Fire me, get rid of me, quit me, I don't care, cancel me. I'd rather suffer. You're fasting again? I am fasting again. I'd rather suffer. There you go, Daniel in the Bible. He wasn't suffering. Not at first. At first, he had access to the king's meat. He was royalty. Guess who was known for prayer and fasting? The most in the Bible. The one who had the most access to indulgence had to pray and fast the most. You see, you think you're trying to pray against devils, and I've come to tell you, you need to pray against the influences of indulgence that's all around us. Daniel had to pray and fast just to say no to stuff. Well, I'm pray and fast because whenever I have a devil attack me, I'll pray and fast. What about praying and fasting because everywhere you look, there's something telling you to stop? Daniel knew the secret to indulgence is self-denial. If you're going to make it in the last days, get a habit of fasting. Get a habit of praying 3 times a day. Bow your head down and say, Lord, that meat sure looks good, but I'm not giving in. I know I could have any woman of the kingdom, but I'm not giving in. I know that they've given me all the access to the royalty and all the power of Egypt and this world, but I'm not doing it. God, keep me strong. God, help me not to give in. Satan's voice is in my head. Wouldn't it be cool if we could go back to the Garden of Eden? You know that we have. Every day you say no to this, you make up for what Adam and Eve did. Every day you pass by it and go, not today. I live with it, but I'm not giving into it. Every day you go to the mall and you keep them eyes up, and I'm not, nope, not that. No, I only have eyes for my wife. And every day you live and you're like, not that drug, not that drink. That's my old man. That's not me now. You walk by every day. You see every day you're making up for what Adam and Eve messed up on. Every day you're saying, I choose you, God. Every day you're saying, let me redo this. But it's far more than a piece of fruit. It's a world system. Looking at people of faith all over this house right now, and you let the devil tell you that you don't have faith, but I've come to encourage you and tell you, you are a chapter 11 woman and man of God. Every day you choose to suffer, overindulge with this worldly culture. You have more faith than you realize, and one day we shall see Jesus face to face, not because of swords, not because of lions, but because we said no. I'm talking to people who the devil's told you you're a loser because you want things. You're not a loser because you want things. Wanting things is the enemy's trick. But here's how we're going to make it in the end. God's going to give us a power and authority to say no, to walk on by, to bounce our eyes and say, I only have eyes for you, God. I know it's there and I could get it if I wanted it, but I don't. I choose to suffer. I'd rather be hurting right now than give up what you have for me, God. I came to preach to our generation. I came to preach to the church in Austin, Texas. I came to preach to the members and the guests right now. I'm going to tell you your biggest poison, your poison is pleasure. And we've got to get our minds made up. I do not want to be a part of the world. I do not want the things of the world. I will say no. I will say no. I will deny myself. I will say no to the things that come my way. I refuse to give in and be an Egyptian. I don't care what it costs me. I refuse to be worldly. I refuse to get along with my friends and peers. I would rather suffer. Think about that as you're going into prayer right now. Moses chose suffering. Moses chose. Who in their right mind would choose suffering? Somebody who could stay in the palace, somebody who could be on Netflix, somebody who could have the food. I'd say no to it. When you die one day, we're going to say they said no. One day we'll stand around your casket and go, they could have said yes to the world, but instead they said no. Well done, thy good and faithful servant. Come on into heaven, because you were bombarded with daily thoughts of temptation. You were bombarded with daily thoughts of lust, but yet you chose to serve God. If you're saying yes to God and no to the pleasures of the world, then it's time to come down here and make your commitment sure. And let somebody pray with you and give yourself to God in repentance and make yourself clear. I'm not just here to have a sword fight with the devil. I am here to resist him. I am here to resist and stand against his devices. I am here to resist the pleasures of the season. Oh, in exchange for pleasure forever. I'd rather have eternity than have temporary sinful pleasure. calling all saints to live by faith in 2024. Not like Paul, not like Peter. They never understood what it was like to be bombarded with temptation and food and drugs and alcohol and sex everywhere you look. But we are the generation that God trusts to build the last day revival on. We are stronger than you realize. We've got more faith than you know. It's time to tell the devil we are ready to take this city. We are not weak. We are not broken, but we are the head. We are not the tail. We're the mighty church. The name of Jesus is upon us, and we will see and do great exploits in the name of Jesus. Come on, you're greater than you know. You've got more faith than you realize. You came to church in a culture that doesn't go to church. You got dressed that came to pray in a culture that rejects prayer. I'm looking at people full of faith right now. I'm looking at people full of faith right now. If you've been saying no for 20 years, then you are a chapter 11 Moses faith person. Oh, God, help us right now in the name of Jesus. Come on, be encouraged right now. We're going to take this city. Be encouraged right now. What can we not do? As soon as you begin to step out of Egyptian culture, as soon as you begin to rise up and declare it, I will not be like this world. I'm telling you, it will release you. It'll free you. You've got more faith than you realize, ma'am. You've got more faith than you know. Every time you deny yourself, it's another victory for your life. It's one step closer to heaven. Come on, who's going to suffer with me? Brothers and sisters, who's going to suffer with me? Who's going to hold my hand in the last days and step out of Egypt and say, I choose to not be like the world at all costs. I don't care what they say. I don't care what I lose. I choose to suffer. My people is God's people. I refuse to be a sabotage on God's people. I refuse to betray God's people. I will stand with holiness. I will stand with righteousness. I will stand with the will of God.